The difference between closing day and the due date and the statement date. So when you pay your credit, because I have had that experience, when you, that's what I used. That's what I used to do while paying by credit. I always thought that paying by credit on the due date is going to help my credit to grow. It, it does a little bit, but it takes it back again because it has a backlash effect when you throw things what we are normally do. People normally do generally is to pay their credit uh, balance on the due date. When you pay your credit balance, you've got to wait till past the statement date. If you pay your let's assume you had a balance of about $500 on your credit and you want to pay it down and they tell you to pay some amount down on your credit on your statement and your due date and you pay that amount down on your due date. Immediately restriction will be thought of it's been paid and the next day you want to go and spend your credit again. You are not paying it down because that's the statement day is going to be reported what you have on your credit. So your credit is not going to be reported after the statement date is gone. So you have to wait. Even if I paid my $500 down to like $250, and you don't have to spend the next day to another $200 on your credit, because that's going to hurt your credit too. So you're going to allow the day to lapse, the statement day to lapse. Then it is going to be the next statement day before the reported credit day, so you can start spending. I hope I make point what I'm saying. Because that's most of what people do. The habit we do is to pay on the due date. When you pay on the due date, you think all is well. Yeah, all is well, but you have to wait till this day because your credit is not going to be reported to your credit bureau until after the statement day. Right. So you can't spend the next day. You've got to wait like 5 days and let it go. Right. So that whatever you spend is going to be the next day.
Oh, okay. Okay. But if you use it like it's cash and you may pay this every 2 weeks, then you're not going to pay it. Your goal is not to pay interest on the credit card. It's to use someone else's money, get the reward points from it, and not pay them a dime for it. Exactly. Everybody else let them pay. Exactly. But your job is to use their money, pay it when it's due, and
so you're saying if you make bi-weekly payments, chances are you may not have to pay an interest charge. You won't be charged interest fees
if you're paying it. So if you're paying every 2 weeks, however you get paid, if it's weekly or bi-weekly, and whatever you spent that prior week, you're paying it in full, then you shouldn't have. Because 2 weeks, you're going to pay it. Before your statement, you're going to pay it. And it's using someone else's money. But, I mean, of course, we do get situations where we need credit. So in that case, you want to look for, how can I use someone else's money and pay the least amount of interest? Sometimes that's looking at your credit card. There's looking at savings accounts or in the line of credit from the bank. Whoever's you can get the least amount of credit from. Well, who's gonna charge you the least amount of interest for? Now I know Bank of America has 2 credit cards that if you have good standing with them, they'll only charge you a 3% conversion fee if you have a year to pay them back. So you can get it as cash advance, not cash advance. A balance transfer. And only pay 3%. They're gonna take that up front, and then you have 11 to 12 months to pay them back with no interest. Now, if you wait and pay back the day after the 12 months, now you gotta pay back that interest for that year.
Exactly. For the whole
year.
For
the whole year.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So, anybody have any questions?
I was thinking, what do you think about security?
If you're rebuilding credit, I have that on here too. You can. And with you're doing a secure credit card, I would prefer if you know how much you're spending on a bi-weekly basis. So say you're spending $500. Can you save up $1,000 and get a secure credit card for $1,000 to $1,500? So therefore, if you're using $500, you still got it. So it's like you're using a third of your credit. And it's like you're using your credit responsibly at the time. So that's a good way to build up your credit because that's a different trade line. You can get a secure credit card. You can go get you can get a loan. And 2 things you can do too. If if they won't give you a loan, you can go into a bank and tell them, hey, I want to get a CD. Lock the money up in a CD and tell them to give you a loan on that money. So that's one trade line. And then you go and tell them, hey, I want to get a secure credit card. Those are two different trade lines that you're funding yourself. For the money you get with the loan from the bank, I would say put that in another account and have them take it out. Or the account automatically. Auto pay. But I only want you to use that if that's an option for 3 months. After 3 months, my goal is always to pay the least amount of interest. Yes, you're going to make money on the savings account that you have locked. You're not going to make that much. But because you have a loan out or a credit card, you're going to be paying them interest on that outstanding balance. Right? So you want to pay the least amount of interest. Make 3 months of payments. And then that 4th month, you pay it in full. Just tell them how to take the money out back. Because you should not pay interest for the next 9 months. Within 3 months, it's going to affect your credit score positively. And it's showing that you had a payment issue. Your goal is not to pay them the most interest for it. So the 3 months, pay it off, and that's one trade line. And it's reflecting good on it. Okay, so whatever. I learned about my debt to income ratio. Do anybody have a question of what's your debt to income ratio, or how do they come up with your debt to income ratio? No, we are debt. So you take on your credit, they look at whatever you tell them your income is. When you do the credit app, they ask you what your income is, and they report it. So most credit bureaus also, they'll ask you what is your stated income, and then they take that and they have all your debt out there, all your credit cards, car loans, mortgage, rent doesn't show them there, but credit cards, and that's how they come up with your debt to income ratio. Yes. So whatever your outstanding debt is, they look and they take your income and set. They really want you to be, for your living expenses for a mortgage, 35% of your income should go towards your mortgage. So your living expense. And then to give you a loan, they want you under 65%. Like you need at least 35% of your income free and clear. Or they're going to say your debt to income ratio is too high and you have credit risk for that. Okay. So for y'all just came, we're going over the 50 things that I learned while fixing my own credit, and then I have an outline that we're going through both of them. I'm touching points from the outline and the things that I learned from fixing my own credit. So I'm not telling y'all about some that I don't know about and I haven't worked with. These are things I actually did. And I started my credit journey back in 2006. And I helped my brother with his credit. So. Talked about the savings account. Okay. I learned that there's different types of credit cards, which are department stores and major credit cards. But again, each one is a different type of trade line. Okay, we talked about the closing date and the statement date. Plan ahead for emergencies. That's when I was saying that I really look for the least amount of interest I have to pay when I need money. You don't look for money when you need it. You look for money, so therefore you know where to go when you need it. So that's why the budgeting comes in hand and just planning for expenses. And that 70-30-20, 70-20-10 rule will come into play if you have debt. Because once you pay down your debt, that 20% you can use now to create your savings or your emergency fund. Or it can be used for investing. And once you have a plan, most people, a couple of people I know plan that, hey, it's going to take me a year to pay off this debt once they did their plan. They were able to get it done in 9 months. Because now, once you know what you need to do, how can to cut some things out. And that's where the wants and the needs will come into play also. Oh, I did have this big opinion on that.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I don't know where we at. Which one? I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like, maybe everybody else can see it. It was just me.
I put number 19 in here because I like it. Like, I spend money. I spend other people's money like it's mine. I don't spend everybody's like, oh, is this your money? I'm gonna spend an extra $100 for you. Nah, everything is always on the budget. I'm very strict with that. You can negotiate interest rates with credit cards. There's two ways you can do it. One, if they've already messed up your credit and they have you at a high interest rate, you can negotiate that. Two, if you got excellent credit, if you've been paying with them one time, you can be like, hey, I'm really thinking about going to another credit card because y'all charging 18% and they charging 14%. Why am I staying with you? And then they'll look and they'll consider it. I'm gonna tell y'all a credit card that I love is Discover.
Yeah, FICO scores right there.
It is. And Discover, you can call them the Discover It card. 2 years after I had the card, I called them and said, hey, I want to make a large purchase. Y'all got an interest-free option? They're like, yeah, they gave me interest-free for another year. Like, Discover is the only card that I know will do that. And that's the only card every 4 months you can request a credit line increase. So no matter where you are, if you want to get to 50,000, strategize every 4 months.
Navy Federal will also give you a boost. Navy Federal already have up to 3 cards with them, 3 credit cards with them. You can get combined up to 80,000. So that's what they say. Some people say they'll even give you more than 80,000, but between the 3 cards that they allow you to have, they post 80,000 is the max. But wherever you start at, every 6 months you can ask for an increase. And if you're in good standing, you have to keep increasing until you reach 80,000.
Okay. And most credit cards, it is every 6 months.
Choose those that
Discover is the only one that I know about that's for. And then you were asking about Capital One. Capital One is every 6 months.
I have this experience with Capital One because when I was building my credit, Capital One was one of the areas that got to do credit.
Yeah.
I actually started with that green card, first bank, something I did all the way.
First Premier.
Yes, for Premier Bank. But when I got with Capital One, I found out that Capital One has like a peg on different cards and their customers. So no matter what you do, there's some Capital One card, no matter what you do, when you are in that peg, they can't take you out of the place. You have to get another card. Even if you decide to go for credit increment or you go for whatever, except you get credit card. Because my credit was excellent. When I got to Capital One at 770, I went to Capital One and I won the credits. Though when I started using those credit, automatically when you are trying to max it out and you are paying it on time, then automatically you increase your credit without being asked. They did that to me. So without being asked, they gave me about $6,000 without being asking them. Then so I was like, oh, I don't care because so subsequently, like a year after, then I went to Capital One that I wanted a credit increment deposit and now doing larger purchase and everything. They said they were sorry, they will get back to me over time, keep calling. They said instead of giving me that, they now said I should change the card. So Capital One Venture or something like that.
So they just increased your credit?
They did anymore. So when I told them,
Somebody else told me I didn't even believe
it is. Because so I told them, and I called them again. I told them, I said, you know what? If you ain't going to give me credit with everything that I got, I've been doing, I've not missed a payment, I've not done anything wrong on my credit, then I'll go to another bank. Then I went to, that's how I got with Chase. As soon as I got with Chase approved me for the first time. I got back to the second card, Chase approved me for the second card, with a large amount, not little amount. So every time I go to Chase is giving me everything I wanted. So I was like, and my credit now went almost like astronomical with Chase. So then I see that Chase does that. And I would advise again, as part of advice, when you are getting a credit, especially when you're in the middle there, you're building your credit, you're in the middle. Please don't get. I don't know. It depends on people's perspective at times. But please, it is advisable not to get a credit card if you know your transaction is not really high. Don't get a credit with an annual fee.
Oh, annual. Yeah.
That's another point. Is annual
Annual
fee.
fees.
Don't
You
pay
gotta pay
annual
that.
fees on
Oh,
the credit
yeah,
card.
yeah, yeah.
Most of the cards that I have the one I use. But one thing I love about the one is one of the good cards you can use in internationally because I travel every time. I use Chase and I come one in Dubai. I use it in different countries and I've been without no charge.
No charge.
No foreign
Point
transaction
transfer,
fee.
yeah.
So it's one of those few cards. Though there are other banks too, but it's one of those few cards that are accepted anywhere. I've tried other cards, even with the transaction fee. I wanted to use them outside. You can still not use them. They rather give you issue, they send you text messages, they say you're out of the country. That's the only thing.
I had a good experience with Capital One when I was a student. They gave me a student card. I was with them for 7 years, and they would increase your credit without you knowing. So, but I ended up having to file bankruptcy because I lost my job, and I had a $28,000 car that I need to pay off. I was like, no, I don't have no gap insurance. I can't pay this car. So I had to file bankruptcy, and of course they closed the Capital One. And now I'm having a hard time getting the Capital One. I'm not sure if it's because of that, right? Because they had to close. So I'm wondering about that. Now, before that, I had a good experience with that.
So the bankruptcy do affect certain credit cards. Like I know American Express won't give you a credit card if you have bankruptcy until it's off your credit. And there's two types of credit. It's people that have bankruptcy, they still you on one level, and then once the bankruptcy has been dismissed, you get back with everybody else, and there's another credit score. So you could probably, even though your bankruptcy is 4 or 5 years old, you might can have a 700 credit score, but you still can't get an American Express card. But once your bankruptcy has been discharged for the 10 years and it's off your credit, it'll drop you down to six something.
Well, yeah, I did the authorized thing with my mother.
Okay.
American Express with $20,000 credit limit, and that boosted it up. So that did work. But I can't get, it's like I can't get in. So, I don't know. I was just wondering if that was the
How
case.
long has
But
it been since your bankruptcy?
it's been since 2017.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering if, I mean, it did boost my credit up. I'm like, now I'm like at a, I was at 4 something, like at a 650.
Okay.
So it's okay, but it's still not enough.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I did open a secured card, which I like because once I paid off everything, they give me money back, which I like that. I like that.
Okay.
This one is called First Progress.
Okay.
Yeah. So they actually gave me $20 extra. I mean, it may have been nothing, but something to me.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's the perks of having the credit where you're using someone else's money and you get the perks of spending money you're going to spend anyway. So, yeah, it gets your take, it gets better. It's better.
And the one thing about Capital One is they do have their own system.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they don't use the regular, point. And they have their own system. Once you get a card, whatever you had in there, that's what they'll fix you with forever on that account. Because they have a whole different system. Like, when they do that, they have it where they set your maximum on that. You can never go back.
That's it. They call it bucketing. Yes.
Now, they also keep their own history. They put their own history. So really, when that happens, that's probably what it is.
Because now they won't give me nothing.
Yeah.
It's like they gave me a $200 one, but I'm like, well, I'm going with this $200.
Well, be honest, it's a start. You never know what you can do even with 200.
I wouldn't recommend it. I actually still got a car with them, but they never I had them for about like 2 years.
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
just like they're good credit. They're good for these.
To start off your credit.
Yeah, they're not really one to specialize in that kind of thing unless you start with them that way. But they're not one to give
Got a
out.
lot of cars that are way higher than like having one car. They just won't increase it.
right? If you
That
get a
is
checking account,
Yeah, checking account. So that, I mean.
it's a couple of
Trying
stipulations.
to get you in there or what?
I don't
No,
think that's
they'll
true.
give you
Most banks
money.
do that.
No,
They'll
no,
give, but you have to be there. You have to be there for a certain amount
Chase
of time.
does that too from time to time.
They'll tell you you have to be there for 3 months,
It's not a
and you
scam.
gotta have direct deposit going in and out, or you have to use your debit card in order to get that money.
Read the
That's
fine
what
print.
a certain
That's
amount of
what
money to
I'm-
get.
It's different.
What's
Banks
the
have
situation?
different requirements.
Read the
Yeah,
fine
that's
print.
not.
Read the fine
Once you
print.
have like a minimum.
Yeah, you gotta read the fine print. Because
There's some people that do bank bonuses, the bank, they make that a thing, that's how they make like money on the side. So it's not a scam, but you do have to, like Steve said, read the fine print so that you can make all the markers to get the bonus. But it's,
Yeah, but you can probably make like what, 10,000 or something like that. Yeah.
60 days or something.
Correct.
You have to go on.
And they don't
You
give
know,
it.
you already got in, you should have read the thing.
But think about it, that is not, what you talk about is not a bad thing. Because, I remember there's one guy, I talked about him a lot, Myers Golden on YouTube. One thing he talks about is, most people have the wrong idea of what money is for. It's not for you to spend and do that. It's for you to make more.
Yeah.
And to be honest, something like that, what she was talking about, is actually not a bad idea. Because that's where they're using money to make money. Get it out there.
Yeah.
my husband he was bored during the pandemic, so he sat down and had a chart of all these banks, and it was driving me crazy. So we went from bank to bank to bank to bank and hit every bonus and closed that money and walked away with money.
Okay, she
So, yeah, money, that's a good way of thinking.
I got tired of doing it because I
Very
was
good.
also from bank to bank. But people say,
Because that's what they're for.
They're gonna use SWOT analysis. Everybody has their strengths, they've got their weaknesses. Each bank got their strengths and their weaknesses. I started with Bank of America. I saw the weaknesses in dealing with people and stuff. So especially when it started when you were a beginner, because I started from scratch when I got no credit at all to where I'm grateful. So when I started with Bank of America, I found that the first thing that I noticed was their check account. You've got to pay some monthly fee. It's not like Capital One 360 account and the other ones that they are opening now where you zero your account and you don't have to pay a fee. But with Bank of America, you have to pay a fee. It's not your check coming in or you have $5,000.
So you're going to pay the balance.
So all those things that are things to watch out for. So as soon as I know they do all that, I quit. And that's what first thing that took me to Capital One. So when I got to Capital One, they have 360 account where you don't have to, you can zero your account. So I want to put my account to 000, it's fine. I'll take all my money out. I want to use it for something better rather than keeping or paying some installment fee on every monthly maintenance fee of about $5, $10. Those are a lot of money too. But you pay $5 every month, $10. I don't want to do all that. So that's why I got me Capital One. From there, I got Capital One credit card. Started. But one thing Capital One love doing is when you know you're a very good customer to them, even if they are not increasing, they're going to increase it to a certain level and pay you there. Like everybody has agreed. But however, they are going to start introducing you to different kinds. They do that to me a lot. They call me from the bank every time. Oh, can you try Venture X, Capital One case? This gives you more miles. We know you travel. I don't need that. I already factored what I want to use your card for to pay outside America or wherever I am around the world. That's the easiest card I can use to buy, purchase anything without me thinking twice. Once you slot it there, they are going to take it. Like I was going to tell you immediately, the card has just use your card, international transfer and transaction just on your card. But with Chase, that's going to be through a hell. Even if you're going to pay transaction, they're still not going to allow it. They will send you code, fraud alerts, this and that, a lot of things will start coming to your card. At the end of the day, you'll be frustrated with that transaction. So it's just identifying what you're using each bank or what particular card for. So I got all these cards and use them for different things. So I hardly use my Capital One when I'm inside here. I just want to make sure I fulfill all righteousness by making just purchase a little thing on it But if I want to make my daily activity, like I say, use the card like as a catch, I use my Chase account, and I've never. That's another secret to me. I've never for one day paid any interest, and this is what that works for me. What works for me is I pay by card at any time. I don't care. I don't wait. It is due date. I don't wait. It's 15 days. I don't do all that. If I use $300 of my card today, if I can find $50 tomorrow, I pay it. So by the time they are going to come by with the secret, by the time they are going to come with their own monthly fee, they will say your monthly fee is going to be $25, $25. I already paid $50 yesterday. I'm going to pay in another 1 week another $50. That's me. That's I was already made $100 without me sweating so much. Because when you want to, I found out that when you want to pay debt, it's always very hard. Paying debt. That's the highest thing that people could do. And that's what leads a lot of people into more debt. Because you are thinking in your mind, I'm going to settle this debt. Because something unforeseen crop up again. You need to sue money. So you can't pay that debt that you are anticipating to pay anymore. Even if you are anticipating to pay $100 on that debt, and the problem of $50 just crop up from your car, that you need to, inflate your tire or do something, or get gas every day, and you can't pay that $100 anymore. So your debt becomes double. And that's going to start affecting you. So I don't wait. Even if it's $10 or $20 I have, there's no amount you can't pay. They've told you put the amount you want to pay. And you put it there and pay it. I could be paying $10 every day. You don't make it. I spend more than $10 every day. So if you pay the $10 for 30 days, obviously you have paid more on your credit card. And it's going to be reported every time that you are paying. That's another secret. No matter how little the money is, it's going to be going there that you are reporting it that you pay constantly. And that's another secret to me, payment of credit card.
Okay, I got a question. Okay, so I have never paid any money on my student loans. I have over $150,000 in student loans. I've either waited to deferment or I just talked to them and told them, okay, I can't do it this way, something like that. I've always worked it out with them. But now I'm on a program where they do what they call income.
IER.
Yes. So every time I go to them, I'm like, when they check my income and versus my children and stuff like that, it's always zero. I don't have to pay anything. And then the lady was telling me, well, after 25 years, if you haven't paid anything, you're just gonna let it go.
Correct.
Is that's true?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then I thought maybe I was doing a bad thing. That's okay. Yeah.
Have you tried to get it with what's going on? Have you tried to get it forgiven?
I did, but they right now they only take the people who's working in public places, and I'm not doing it.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I have a friend. She just got $200,000 loan forgiven, all of it.
I need to meet your friend.
She sent it to me. Here, I'll pass this to you. She sent it to me, $200,000. And she just got it. So I don't know if she just kept trying, because they wouldn't even forgive my $5,000.
Right. Is she a teacher?
No, she's not a teacher. She worked.
For a non-profit?
It's got to be something
so.
that
I
has
don't
to
know.
help
I'll ask her, but I can't return me. I'll be back again. But, I'll find out what she did exactly. What was her process?
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just sitting there. I haven't paid anything on it. It's just, and it's keeping the issue just keep piling up.
People told me to keep trying. Like if they stop, if they tell you no, just keep trying. It's the form. You just keep filling out the form.
Okay, but I need to know this. I need to know this form so I can wipe that one out because I don't want to worry about that in the future. Just a lot of debts I paid off already, and that's not one of them.
The only thing on my credit, on my phone right here, it's too long. My goal at first was not to pay them, period. But this year I got a revelation and say, you know what? I need to start paying them. I'm gonna pay them something. Minimum, I want to give them $30,000. I owe about $100. So if I can get 70 wiped out, I'm gonna pay them 30 quick.
Okay, yeah.
But if I hit about your plan, I still work out it with them. But I won't have my loan at least forgive. And I'm using my non-for-profit, so I do.
Let us know that, please.
Yes.
Because I don't want to have to work. I'm going into something. And I'm going to be making some money. And I really don't want that.
She sent this to me, and I said, oh, okay.
Now, you know,
No, you
there,
don't have
Yeah,
to.
right.
depending on the student
Okay.
that you're on, there are some loans too, so there's great different pieces of it. Like,
You said what?
depending on the type of loan you have, you know, like there's, if you look at your credit, you got different loans that are different amounts.
It's two. It's the
Well, there's more than two sometimes though, because there's like, I know I have like different ones, some that are like 2,000, 500, they're all added together. So you can pay portions of it off, but it'll still work, it'll get your credit paid off.
no. Well,
Yeah,
man,
because they sure.
I consolidated my loan.
And if you did that, yeah, that's
It's
it.
consolidated and it's only with the government. You know, some people take student loans out with banks. They don't give you breaks on those.
Okay, so it's with the ones with the
I don't.
government.
Yeah, only the ones with the government are the ones that you can play with until it's
Play with.
Yeah, but the original ones from the government do not consolidate, you do that yourself. Because I know mine have, I know someone that consolidated theirs, I did not, because I knew once I did that, a lot of the options of paying certain things off was harder because it's all one.
Well, yeah, I did the IBR too. I was in that, but now I'm under the plan for my non-for-profit because I work for my non-for-profit, so I get credit for that.
We got to talk. That 1 hour meeting we had, we got to talk.
Okay, so
Serious conversation.
exactly, yeah. You can get it written off that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do everybody know you can go to annual free credit report and get your free credit report? They used to do it once a year, but since the pandemic, you can actually go once a week.
Oh.
And get annual free credit report. You can get a credit report from all 3 credit bureaus for free. So you need that information to know where you are and who has. So when you go and get that, you want to look at your name, your addresses, make sure all that information is correct. Because say for instance, TransUnion have your address at one location and the other 2 have something different. You can dispute it because the information is not consistent across the board and get that written out. So there are some things you can do. You want to check your credit report, make sure everything is on there is accurate and it has your correct information. If it's addresses you currently don't use or you see an address that's not yours, you need to have that wiped off your credit. Now, if someone puts you down as an authorized user on your credit, right? Their address is going to be on your credit report. Now, if you take that address off, then it takes that good credit off too. I need y'all to know that too. If you're using that, but you can get your credit report from each credit bureau, and I would say check it.
And some of your credit cards.
What about credit agencies? Those agencies where they pass the book to the people?
You're talking about LexisNexis, and all them. So if you're trying to fix your credit and you see some information that's inconsistent or not correct, you have to go to LexisNexis and I think it's 2 other ones and tell them to opt out because they're the ones who actually feed the information to the credit bureau. But if you tell them, hey, stop sharing my information, now when the credit bureaus go back to check with them, they can't verify anything because you told them to stop giving your information out. That's more once you find some things on your credit that, that's not something you did or that's in there.
Well, okay, so it was one company I had owed money to. It was maybe, it wasn't that much, it was like $800. But they sent it to an agency. What they call those good people? Collection agency. So I went ahead and paid them, but I think the interest went up to $1,200, something like that. And they said, well, if you pay $700 of this, we'll cut it. You know what I'm saying? So I paid them. But was that a good idea? Somebody told me I wasn't supposed to accept that.
Well,
And
then also,
Well, I only ended up paying them $700.
but you only sold 800.
But because the interest.
When they sold it for half price.
Right.
They got it at a discount. They tried to you from them trying to recoup it.
you.
So
I paid for $700.
That was good. You thought it was good. You probably could have got it even lower.
Lower.
you could have paid half of that, half of what you owe. Don't worry about the interest.
Right.
It already affected your credit report. It hit you.
Right.
You can't get that back. So now,
Well,
instead of 800, pay 400. Wasn't it?
I was told that if you were to, let's say you were wanting to take that negotiation, you need to also get something in writing that they will remove it from your credit if you pay it.
Oh, this
You
is
you get that before paying it though, because some of them
they're
you
not.
pay it and they'll lie, and then okay, well you're stuck with it still on your credit, and you also pay it. So
It's called
You're
pay
holding
for
off.
deletion. You let them know, I'm gonna pay you, and you have to delete it. Send me that letter, and then I'll give you the information to get it out.
One thing you should always think about too is when you get those collection letters, some of them you have to see what, because who it was from, what did they write you off as? The way they write you off decides whether you even need to pay that or not. Because sometimes when they write you off in a certain manner, you don't have nothing to do with that collection agency.
Exactly, because the
Collection agency bought it, but you didn't have to agree with them. But the moment you acknowledge it, now it's yours. So
It
you
was
should
only
never
one
acknowledge.
$9, and one girl was telling me don't do that.
No, you should not even
Fine,
talk
it's
to
fine.
them.
But I had already paid them, so that's the.
Once you acknowledge it on the phone, say that it's yours, you're already stuck. So they record that. But if you don't acknowledge it, they cannot make it yours.
Okay.
They were calling me on phone, like, okay, you want to this, and that. I didn't know shit. Keep calling me, because I used to follow a lot of people on TikTok and credit card. Listen, read so many things about credit, the credit collection and everything. So there's this particular law that somebody put it on that, and I saw it, and I just wrote them, can you please don't contact me again? I'm not the one that put it there, check profile, this and that, and I said, according to social law, US law, I put it over there, it never come back.
Because you know what
This
they
is coming
do?
everywhere. I'm like, stop.
The challenge is that you can find them. You can find
You
them.
can find
They
them,
have
you
to
can
pay
find
you.
them, you can sue them. I know
Yeah.
that.
yeah, if you
Collection,
told
you
them
can sue
to
them.
just stop calling you and they continue calling you, yes,
You can find them, so they cannot do that.
I paid off a lot anyway. I still got some more to go with.
So you feel the collection agency, when they call you, just don't even say that.
Don't even say,
Don't say that,
somebody
because
told me I
I'm not
should
telling
do.
you.
If you stuck with it, but if you say, hey, man,
They're going to be asking you some lead question. Is this your address, right? So that you can say, oh, that's not my address, it's my address. Once you do that, you're acknowledging.
Be honest, I wouldn't even let them ask me questions. Don't let them ask you questions at all.
But thank God I didn't hear
You ask who it is,
So
you
that's
ask them what this is regarding.
yeah.
Before you let them even start asking you any questions, you take the conversation over. Don't let them control the conversation.
Exactly.
Because the moment you let them do that, they got you in the
I just think I just would rather go to the company.
You're
and
asking,
order
is
one,
your name right?
But once they rent it out, they close. They'll send you.
How about that? What is it
Oh, okay.
That's right. You
And
actually
you
need
say
it.
it's fine. Now you
Nothing
gotta
to do with it.
look at something else. How
What's
to
this
get
about?
out on credit.
Sometimes you're gonna do that.
And these days, they have a lot of different, your credit cards offer you can get free credit. They'll monitor your credit. But I still tell people, Credit Karma, even though their points is 30, that's 20 to 30 points off of what your actual credit score is. You still need a credit card monitoring system where you can go on your phone and see what's going on. Where they'll alert you if a new credit is on your
I think Chase is doing that right now. Capital One is doing it. Credit Sesame.
Credit Sesame
I'm
is
using Credit Sesame. I use Credit Karma.
Is
So
Credit
across board,
Sesame free?
yeah, it's when we started using it, it was free. But now, if you want the true reporting agent, you got to pay. So, but they only report experience every time. Experience.
But all those other companies that's looking at your credit, I found that to be accurate because when I was going to Experian and TransUnion, it's supposed to be a different number than what they show me.
They have two different credit scoring.
Oh.
So that's why I tell you, with Credit Karma, it's 20 to 30 points higher than what they say.
Oh,
Yeah. They have a different, I forgot what they pay tax thing is. They have a different scale that they use to rate. But yeah, if you look at your bank statement that gives you your credit report versus Credit Karma, it's not going to be the same. It's two different.
It's all different.
Actually, and Capital One and go do that too. on your statement.
Right.
But
Yeah,
there's,
because they
there's
always,
nothing,
Capital One always report late. And when you're quick to drop your credit, if your credit, because every, like, the credit do like every week, every month, depending on how you spend on it, it goes down 5 points, it goes back, 10 points, it goes back. So that's the normal thing. But they always report late. But experience and credit assessment is good because they are always on time. Credit. They can always inform you.
I know so I use Credit Karma. They good for letting you know what's on your credit. So I really don't go by their score, but they good at reporting what's on there at least.
Correct.
You know, like you can see your address and, you know, what, sometimes they got where you work at on there. And then I use Experian for like the actual FICO score. So they use FICO score.
Do you pay for that?
The Experian credit score is free, but then you gotta pay like
$20, yeah. I closed that out because that's too much. It's $24 every month.
I think I was doing that at one point.
I paid them $24 when I want to look at it again.
Right.
And then I cut it out.
But the credit card company will give it to you for free.
Right.
My objective is to pay the least amount of fees.
Yeah.
So I know, so Navy Federal gives you, TransUnion for free, and I use Experian for free, and then Equifax. You
Yeah,
can get it online.
I think
So a lot of
FNBO,
times, if you bring the certificate, like a lot of these breaches have been going on,
Yeah.
you wind up getting it for free too. You do that, 'cause like.
Well, everybody's been a part of the breach.
That's what I'm saying, so a lot of them doing that,
Can I
just
mention
like
something?
T-Mobile will do that as well.
I help my daughters get an apartment, and every time they get rent, it goes to credit bureaus.
Oh, they have that.
They have to pay it on time. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that helps.
Because that's also boosting your.
Yeah, because yes,
You
my
kind of
name
like
is on it
co-sign.
too. So every month we pay the rent on time. It's reported to the bureau.
They have it. There's another company that you can open a savings account with them, and they will help report on your credit. So it's different if you're trying to rebuild credit. I have information if anybody wants to do that. Again, that's geared to your specific situation. But I know about a couple of credit cards or a couple of companies that you can report with. Grant is one of them, but it's a savings account that'll report on your credit. Bankruptcy stay on there for 10 years. Any negative credit limit or charge will stay on there for 7 years. Hard inquiries stay on there for 2 years. Now, they can't, there's a letter you can write to get those taken off. I haven't tried it, but I know people that actually go and get the credit inquiries taken off. You can go and say, hey, this is what I need, I don't have that. The flip side, if you got that credit card, they might not take it out. But they can do credit repair where people can have your inquiries taken off. Because your inquiries slightly affect your score. Slightly. If you have kids, I would prefer to start teaching them as early as 12 and 13 about credit, talking about credit, giving them credit cards to let them know how to use it. Because the earlier you introduce them to credit, the better off they'll be. Credit card companies target young people that's in college who can't afford it, but they mess their credit up. And they'll give them, city will give generous amounts to people in college, so $5,000.
Yeah, that was my first one.
But if we teach our kids when they're 12 and 13 how to use credit, and they're under our supervision, put your lines on the credit card, put this, you spend it, we discuss it, and now you understand how credit works. This is not somebody else's money. You're gonna have to pay it back with interest if you don't do it right. Then when they get to college and they get it, they understand.
So is that why you get them 42? You add them as authorized users, you do not leave them your own, and authorized users for that reason?
I did that when they were 15. I thought I got my kids their first credit card at 12. They had American Express prepaid credit card at 12 with their little picture.
What was the purpose here to have them as authorized users?
15 is to help them establish credit. So now from 15 to 19, Go ahead.
Prepaid doesn't go in your credit.
No, they were 12 years old.
But
I needed them to understand credit and how it works.
So this was the start of their credit history.
This, if you have a child 15, you can start putting them on your credit. So therefore, whatever your credit score is, they'll have that credit score. And go ahead.
Are you giving them a card? I know most people don't give them a card because after the trade line, then they get the score.
No, for my kids, no. I gave them
A card for them.
my son. We had just came back from the cruise. He was 16 years old. He took his girlfriend. Now we just got on the cruise right before school let out. I paid for all this. They had $300 that they can spend. That's their allowance. My son spent $500. $300 was at a beauty supply store, and he spent $150 at Red Lobster on the girl.
So wait, so you bought her hair, you bought her hair.
I didn't even know. I'm like, what? Yes, he was buying weed at 16 years old. And he
Wow.
my son, he was asking about credit cards. Like, did you actually give your kids a card? I'm like, yeah, because I was teaching them how to manage their money. Their allowance went on the credit card, and I let them know. But when I looked, he already had 300. He spent 500. 300 was at a beauty supply, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And then Red Lobster. Me and the sister wasn't there. Like, who you taking the Red Lobster? These girls, you need to take them back down to the money. But yes,
Who's buying weed?
Weed,
I
that's beauty
believe
supply.
his girlfriend
Oh.
at the time.
So for you, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I got long drive, and so I heard something about credit, like AI that would dispute, write the letters for you, and you just send them off. So I just looked it up. If you look up like an AI, artificial intelligence that will write the letter for you, yeah, ChatGPT, and then
Some of those are not free, but I spoke to them because I'm in school right now. I spoke to our professor, they gave me a site that goes to his school.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh, that's like,
Yeah.
but I pay with ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. It helps me know how to do.
Yeah, this one,
Yeah.
Other one's
Yeah.
credit features.
Credit features, they give you a pay credit features. You come back for more.
Actually, that one is owned by a brother that's keeping all of them.
Yeah, well,
I just want
Somebody
it
like-
for just briefly small.
Use the AI, you gotta put the name of the company that's disputing. And then it'll populate the rest of the information. It like caters to that company. If you just put a random, it's gonna be hard to do.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, that's if you want to start building your kids' credit score, you can put them on your cards as authorized users, and then once they turn 18 and they already familiar with how to use credit, you want to transition and get them credit cards on their own because they'll have a good score because they're linked to yours. But when they look at their personal credit, they're not going to see that they have their own card. So you'll get them on their college. Just to start your kids off on it. Oh, it says he's 11. But I remember my son, both of them had credit cards. And they both decided as young adults they didn't want to use credit. They use it now, but they wanted to only use cash. I'm like, cash is not good. You get no reward for it.
They just want credit, that's it.
Okay, we talked about Discover. I'll tell y'all that's my number one card. Even though I don't have Discover card. Discuss credit with your kids. We have to teach them and family members about credit. Oh, well, I learned this, but I don't know how helpful it will be about banks. Decide which bank you're with, whether it's a cash flow bank or asset lending. Banks cater to whether you have cash flow or they look at your assets to lend. But it's in reference to credit, but that's for investment more than your personal credit. Now, a good tip is whoever you all bank with, y'all know y'all can go talk to y'all banks, a personal banker. Go ask them questions, and they'll tell you what credit bureaus they use to report. Because if you're trying to build credit, you want to be able to apply for 3 different credit cards at once and only have 1 hit from each credit bureau versus having 3 hits from each. So that's where you have to be a little strategic to know. Chase use 1 credit bureau. Bank of America use another credit bureau. And American Express use another. So if I can apply for all 3 of these cards and I only get 1 inquiry from each one versus 3, it looks good and it's not like you're looking for credit. Even though you're planning, that's when you strategize to get to a certain score. Well, a certain credit limit. And again, you get to determine how much. If they start you off with 2,000 and your goal is to get 10,000, well, every 6 months you're going to be requesting $39. And you just have to know, hey, I plan on making a large purchase and I don't want it to look like I'm using all of my available credit for that. They will run a soft inquiry. Now, soft inquiry is just for they looking at the history you have with them to see what's your utilization level. If you at 70% max, more than likely they're gonna tell you they're not gonna be able to get it to you at that time. But if you know what you're doing, make sure you pay it down 30% or less. They'll do it and then you go back whenever you need to go back and pay it out. Anybody have any questions? I think that's about it. Okay, so last point I want to mention on this is when you're building credit, it's more than likely you want to pay annual fees. But once your credit is established, you want to get cards that you don't have to pay annual fees for. But once it's established and you want to take your purchase to the next level, you go back to paying certain card fees. Like the American Express Gold. Yeah. It has a lot of perks. And it's another one. Did I tell you about another card? No. What is it? It's a Chase card. No, not that card. Oh, that is a business card. Yeah, but I got an e-card for free. Yeah. It's not Freedom. It's Southwest. Southwest credit card. But I think that's business. So, yeah, I don't pay for personal. Well, besides American Express Gold. Other than that, I do not pay an annual fee for credit cards. And I had to change the statement because, I did stop paying for cards.
What's in the purchase for the gold?
Travel. If you go to the airport, they got the
lounge.
The
Can you the lounge? You got
lounge.
first class
The
lounge.
lounge only come on flat.
Huh?
The lounge only come on flat.
for American
No, with
Express.
American Gold Express, you have a lot of travel,
Yeah.
travel,
When did that change? No, you can use it.
travel
Or you
points.
can use the points.
Yeah, because it's the point to get a hotel, you use it to book your flight. They got a lot of the
That's
banks.
the thing, you do that, you can't use the lounge.
You can't use the
You
lounge
can't use
anymore?
the lounge.
You need the platinum.
You use the lounge, yeah.
Well, isn't the platinum with us? They got to do this.
Platinum, gold, the blue one, I don't know what it's called, but it's really, it's a couple of cards.
I know they have the,
So for the,
gold,
So platinum, actually, the platinum.
The gold is probably the top one.
yeah.
Oh,
I
platinum.
Platinum, the platinum out.
That one like $700.
What about that black card?
okay, so I only paid $450. So I don't have a platinum.
What about that black card?
The old one is
The American Express black card.
I don't know if it's American Express, but they offered it.
So, the Americans do that.
The Diamond black card.
They just said it was a black card. And, I don't know what that's about.
That's the new card. Then
So what venture is good too.
The elite card?
Yeah, venture card.
Diamond.
And then